What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hands-On channel. I was just thinking about how one of the ways I stretch a dollar in 2025 to kind of make it seem more like it's the early 2000s or late 90s. One of the ways I do that is I search for great deals. Used to be I used Craigslist a lot, but they've changed a lot over the years, and I guess now they actually charge a fee to use their service to list on there. There's some sort of a fee, so a lot of people have left Craigslist over the years. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. So you guys probably already are aware of that. But anyway, now it's almost all Facebook Marketplace, at least in my local area. Anyway, that's one of the ways that, I'm able to have nice things. And, I've been accused, believe it or not, I've been accused of being a rich guy several times. But one of the ways I've been able to accumulate all the things that I need and a lot of the things that I want is by buying on the used market and being very patient. When I was a lot younger, I didn't have much patience. I would go out, I'm going to tell on myself, I would go out and I would get it in my head that I needed this thing, especially if I was trying to do a big thing like a vehicle or something. And I would get it in my head that I had to have that one. And I'd already done a lot of work, and if that wasn't the one, then, I was going to be devastated. And many times I got really let down because I thought I was going to be going and buying a new truck or a car or whatever, and it just didn't work out at the last minute. It was a POS or, whatever. They sold it right before I got there. But now, I have more of an attitude of if it's meant to be, well, then it'll happen. And, patience is a virtue. But there's also a time that when you see a good enough deal, you better jump on it, especially if it's a smoking deal. So I thought I'd share 3 or 4 of the most recent smoking deals that I've gotten here on Facebook Marketplace in my local area. And, your mileage may vary depending on if you live in California or something where everything's a lot higher, or New York City or one of these other liberal cesspool states, then, and I say that tongue in cheek, I know there's lots of beautiful places in California and New York that are out in the country that I'd probably love, but the politics are controlled by Democrats. Anyway, enough about that. Let me show you some of these smoking deals. Pan around here. My wife's beautiful crepe myrtles, I think they're called. We've got our rabbits down, a couple of female doe rabbits down on the ground, chilling in the shade, eating some clover and different things. Just a beautiful day going on. Chicken coop over there, some other kinds of flowers. Here's what I bought. I've been eyeballing something like this for quite a while. I had this little flimsy grill, and the last time I used it, I went to scrape some chicken off of it or something like that, and the whole grill wiggled like this as I was doing it. I was like, nah, that's it. This is it. I'm going to go ahead and get a proper grill. Now, I didn't really mean to buy something this big. It's a big monster. It's a monstrosity of a grill, and hopefully you can see already it's not brand new. Obviously, that's how I got a smoking deal on it. But I did see a couple that were like new. A lot of people get these given to them as gifts, and then they try them. Maybe it's not really for them, and they realize how much of their back porch is taken up, so they sell it on Marketplace for half the price, right? But these things retail for like $550 or $600, close to $600, even still today. But what it is they call it a combo. It's a, offset smoker. So we've got a firebox over here, a main chamber for our smoker right here, and over here is gas. You can see the gas bottle down below. And also there's some grills I can throw in here if I want to do direct grilling there, or I could even do it there, but I'd have to, the way I do it, I'd want to put another sacrificial piece of metal down to hold the coals off of the bottom, just to keep it from burning the paint off and stuff. But yeah, this one's supposedly 4 or 5 years old. I bought it from an older gentleman. It'd been on a patio, covered patio, all its life. He was given this as a gift from his kids, he said. And today we're doing, I think this is probably the 4th big smoke that I've done on this. I did ribs, I did some chicken once, some kind of, what was that, steak? It was, I can't remember what the cut was, but it was a different cut, kind of like a roast beef type of a cut, and we did that, and it was delicious. Well, today we're doing pork, so we got a pork on there. It's like a pork shoulder, a 6-pound pork shoulder. This will be the biggest thing that I've done on here. We'll just give you a quick peek. what we got going on. Now right now I believe that says 300, but it's actually not 300. That temperature gauge is a little bit off. It's really more like 275. But yeah, we're on the second stage of the basically the 3-2-1 method, but because this one's so big, I'm doing a 4-2-1 method. So we're about 1 hour away from unwrapping that thing and then cooking it for one final hour with the barbecue sauce and stuff like that. But guys, if you know, you know. If you don't know, you're missing out on a part of life that I don't envy you. This stuff, man, when it don't have to be an Oklahoma Joe's, but when you use an offset smoker and you cook slow and low, some of these pieces of meat suddenly become more affordable to you. You can buy things like, you know, like we're doing here. It's a pork roast, arm roast or something like that it's called, or shoulder roast, I believe. But anyway, it's a cheaper cut of meat, and usually the way we've done it in the past is we just cook it in a slow cooker all day inside, and that's fine, but you know, it heats up the house, messes up a bunch of dishes and stuff. This way, I'm out here using this, and so far, guys, this is not a review video on this because I haven't really had it long enough to make a proper review, but it's got lots of control. If I need to stoke up the fire, I can open up that side door right there. I love it. I've got a sacrificial piece of metal down there. I don't want to get too close with the camera. Right now we're running mostly mesquite because I've got a ton of it right now. But I've also got a whole bunch of hickory over at my woods and stuff. So we're going to be able to pretty much smoke all we want to. And I use a little bit of charcoal to get it started. I've also used the gas side to do some steaks, some barbecue chicken. It's fantastic. Now right now it's a little dirty because I just used it the other night, and I've only got one set of grills. I actually have some down there, some extras, but they're a different size. They're for that firebox over there. So anyway, I wanted to share this deal with you. Oh, you're wondering, how much did I pay for it? I'm so excited telling you about it. I forgot to tell you how much I paid. The guy was asking $100. And he was about, let's say, 45 minutes away from me. So I was kind of on the fence if I wanted to go that far because I was skeptical about it. But I messaged the guy and I was like, hey, is there any rust through anywhere or anything like that? Because I did see this one bad spot on it in the pictures. There's a spot there where there's a little rust through where the coating has been burned through and stuff. But it's no big deal. It's just because it's so close to that burner, it probably burned the paint off, and it sounds like a good wintertime project to me to, you know, clean that up and repaint it. But anyway, guys, he wanted $100, so I loaded my trailer up, and it's heavy enough. It justified using the trailer. I'm glad we didn't try to put it in the back of the pickup because it's a beast. And my trailer's got a big long ramp on it. So loaded the trailer up, went down there. And we talked a little bit. He was in the oil field also, so we talked a little bit about that. He was a really nice guy, and he had to have it out of there by Thursday was his request. Well, I believe that Thursday was the 4th of July, or he was having a party for, you know, to celebrate the 4th of July. So he wanted that off his back patio. Can't blame the guy. And I knew that. And I was like, man, hate to do it to you. I'll go 80. And he's like, done. So I gave him 80 bucks. He helped me load it up. I strapped it down, brought it home, been using it ever since. No regrets. So far, no regrets either. It's just been all delicious stuff. But all right, let me take you over to the shop and I'll show you my next smoking deal. So if you've been following the channel for a bit, you'll know this is one of my favorite rigs in the whole wide world. It's a K2500 Suburban, like a 96 model. And for about the past maybe 2 or 3 years now, I've been putting up with it for a long time. I'm getting a vibration at about, comes on at about 63 to 65 and doesn't go away till about 75 or 76. You can usually kind of speed through it. It's got enough power. It's got a 350 in it. It's not the big block model, and I'm glad because that actually kind of makes it a little more rare. They made a ton of these with the big block, and sometimes I wish I had it when I'm towing and stuff, but otherwise when it's just going down the road, it definitely pulls just fine. But that's all factory height suspension. There's no lift on this thing other than just factory suspension. And you can see it's got a heck of a lot more clearance than a traditional half ton for sure, or even a like a 6 lug truck or something like that. or maybe a 3/4 ton or something. But this one is a 3/4 ton, but it's an HD before they actually had the label HD. So anyway, I've had this vibration for a while. I've suspected it's the tires. I took them in. They claim they fixed the balance issue. I've loved these tires. They've been great so far. I mean, as far as I haven't had any flats or any issues. They've worn pretty well. They're the general grabbers. And yeah, I'm old school. I like to raise white letters out. But I even made a video when I put these on, but I never really followed up on it. And I've got quite a few miles on these things. Probably at least 25, maybe 30,000 miles on them. But they're definitely not going to make it to 50 if they're shaking my truck apart at certain RPMs and speeds, right? It never happens at really, really slow speeds. You know, I've had them tires have a bubble in them in the past, and one of our cars, a Lincoln that we had one time, it had a bubble on the front tire, and you could feel in the steering wheel it go whoom, 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 as you were going down the road slowly. And the faster you went, the more violent it got, you know, so we knew that tire was bad. This one's not like that, and it's not one of the front ones. I believe it's one of the rear ones. Something's going on where it's out of round. Now, I don't know. I've heard on the internet, reading forums, that there are places that can actually like re-round them, put them on a machine of some kind and cut them true. But I don't know where that is, and the way things are today, I don't even like dealing with most tire shops because most of them hire unqualified teenagers, and I get it. They're having to hire them because they're cheap. But the problem is I'm almost never satisfied whenever I get mounting and balancing done. So I think I'm going to try to find an older local guy to do it this time. But anyway, I've had this problem for a while. So I've been looking for a set of replacement wheels and tires. And the reason I say wheels and tires is I'm not 100% sure that one of these steel wheels is not bent, because this is a former FBI truck. It came out of like Texas, I believe. And it was an FBI truck at one time, and you know, they may have beat the hell out of this thing, ran it over curbs. I don't know what they did to it. I have to assume the worst. I don't see any curb, you know, like dents or anything in any of the tires, but I took a dial indicator and jacked the rear end of the truck up and got it stable, and then I spun the tire, and I was getting, like, on one side I was getting 30 thousandths run out on the tire and about the same on the wheel. And on the other side, I was getting 80 thousandths out. So I'm like, okay, something's going on here. These tires are out of round, and I don't know how to deal with them other than just replace them. So that led me to looking for what kind of replacement wheels I can put on this thing. And I'm gonna take you in the shop and show you what we got. So again, this is gonna be another Facebook marketplace find. And also a ton of research went into this. I was trying to figure out what wheels and tires would go on here. Factory wheels and tires preferably, that I can get cheap and that look good. Well, I came across this picture and this advertisement for it was a Suburban. Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to give you guys a sneak peek of the Mad Max truck I'll be working on pretty soon. But anyway, right there next to the White Buffalo, that's the Mad Max C10. But anyway, back onto the White Buffalo. I was thinking, what kind of wheels and tires would look best on this thing and not break the bank, right? I don't want to invest my whole life savings into wheels and tires, and that's about what it takes these days. So I started researching. Well, it turns out there was this blue Suburban about the same year. I think it was a 99, where mine's a 96, but it's about the same year. But his was the leather. It had the LS package or whatever. It had leather seats, everything, you know. It was fully trimmed out, fully chromed out, like a Silverado used to be. It had all the works, bells and whistles. And he had put some H2 Hummer wheels on his Suburban, and they looked killer. They reminded me a little bit of what we used to call Western turbines. They used to have some wheels back in the 70s. Hopefully some of you older guys will remember what I'm talking about. They looked sort of like a turbine off of a jet engine or something. And I always thought they were pretty cool looking wheels. Now, usually I saw them on Fords and Mopars, so I don't believe they really fit GM. But these are off of an H2 Hummer, not a H1. The H1 has the big giant steel, you know, run flat tires. Those would be cool too, but I don't want to cut my fenders out to fit tires and wheels. These are 17 inch versus 16 inch, and they're 8.5 inches wide versus 6.5 inches wide on the factory wheels. So they're nice and juicy. And best of all, there was a little bit of a communication issue. It was another Facebook deal. And whenever I went over, this guy was Hispanic and he could hardly speak any English. So that was a little bit of a trouble, but he understood cash money. So he had them listed for $150, which was already on its face a smoking deal. And I was going to buy them for $150, even if it was just 4 of them, because I haven't seen them that cheap. Most of the time when I see them, they're like $300 or more, sometimes $400 or $500. Now, a lot of times they have rubber on them already, but usually the rubber's trashed. Anyway, he wanted $150 for them, and I said, oh, hey man, I hate to do it, but what about $100? And, when he listed the picture, he didn't actually show a great picture. They weren't all stacked up like this where you could count how many there are. He had them kind of scattered where I could only see 3 of them. So I had to message the guy before I even went to make sure he even had 4. And I said, yeah, do you have 4 of those wheels or what? Are they in good shape? Have any of them ever hit a curb or anything, or anything curb rash? Or no. Yeah, I got 4. Well, I got there, he had 5. So I don't know how he ended up with an extra wheel. But I love that because now I can have a full-size matching spare tire if I can afford to do it. Tires is a whole nother deal. I don't know how I'm going to get a good deal on tires, but they are crazy expensive for the brands that I am familiar with. So anyway, I got a full set of these Hummer wheels in beautiful shape. They're not the chrome ones. They're the machined and gray painted ones, but that's okay. I like that. I've seen some guys go in and powder coat the centers and have these powder coated black, and then they'll go and they'll refinish that part there. But yeah, these things are in fantastic shape like new, and I got 5 of them. So he said $150, and I'm like, $100. He said, no. I said, okay, $120. He said, $130. I said, okay, and I whipped out $130, and him and his son helped me load them up. I shook his hand, went on down the road. So now I got to find me some tires, the same lug nuts, everything, because these are factory GM wheels. In fact, I don't know if I'll be able to find it because I don't have my my glasses on right now, but maybe I can find it. There's some writing right in there. You guys might be able to see it. I don't know what that says. There's some more writing right in there. But these are factory GM wheels because GM made the Hummer. And I just think that's super cool to be able to put factory wheels. Everything should be the same. Hub centric if it's required to be hub centric, and I'm not sure because I think that back differential is floating. But they're the right diameter on the inside. And I've even heard of guys having these machined out and putting them on Dodges because it's the 8x6.5 pattern, the older pattern, where a lot of the more modern trucks, I think past 2010, have some sort of a 8 by however many millimeters, And I don't know what that means, but I do understand 6.5. So guys, I'm real stoked about this. I think because the video is getting a little long here, I'm only going to show you one more of my smoking deals, and we'll call it a wrap. But yeah, $130, 5 Hummer wheels, no cracks, no curb rash. They all look like almost like new takeoffs, except I can tell they have been run some. But that'll clean up real nicely. Let's go on to the next smoking deal. Yeah, I've got so many good deals. I'm forgetting about how many good deals I've got. It's like I've been winning so much. I'm kind of getting tired of it. But anyway, the last time I was out doing some tractor work, I got burned like a lobster, and I didn't like it. And I've been looking online for a solution that doesn't cost me $500, right? Well, if you know, you know. This is a golf cart topper, whatever you want to call it, a roof for a golf cart. If you've got a golf cart salvage yard around, you can probably find one. This was an extra large one. They had a smaller one. I may regret getting the extra large, but maybe not. If I can get it to all mount up without having to have any forward supports, then it'll be golden. So that's my plan. I'm working on that right now in the background. But yeah, that was one more of my smoking deals. And she was just this lady that had this. I got it for, they originally had it for 60. I was like, that's too much. And I waited, but I saved it and I kept watching it. And then like 2 weeks later, they had it for 50. I'm like, yeah, okay, you're going the right direction. And then it was 40 OBO. And I'm like, okay, I'll go now. So I loaded up White Buffalo, or cleaned it out a little bit so I could fit this big old thing in there, and went out to the town that was about 45 minutes away and picked this up for 30 bucks. I thought that was a smoking deal, and it's a little dirty because it's got, it's been raining a lot and there was dirt and stuff on it. It was laying down in the dirt, but there's no cracks or anything. There's one little corner that's bent right there, but I could probably heat that up with a heat gun or something and pull that out. But yeah, this is going to be my my sun protection for the Mahindra. And right now I'm working on a quick connect system, so I'll be able to slide that on to my ROP system, roll bar protection system, because I need to be able to fold it down to fit it inside my shop, and also when I put it on a trailer, I don't want that big roof on there. I need to be able to pop it off, on and off as I need it. And hopefully I can keep it fairly light, but yeah. Let me take you out and show you the last good deal here. All right, go on past my Ukrainian style wood chopper. Been doing a little bit of refinement on that, trying to fine tune it, get it to work better. This deal here, I've been looking for one of these. It's basically called a boom pole, or sometimes a gin pole, and I just had it on the tractor yesterday. I wish I'd have taken a picture of it, but it's basically, that pallet's 10 foot long, so it's about 9 foot long. And I apologize if there's any wind. I didn't feel like getting out all my good camera gear, and so I'm just doing this on my cell phone, but it should serve the purpose to show you guys what's going on here. I picked this thing up. It's an older one, but I like that because I can tell, I mean, whoever built it, can't really read that right now with my naked eye, but it looks like it was made in Kansas or something, I believe. And it's got that top gusset support up there. That's important for when you have heavy loads out on the end. But this ties on the back of your tractor on the 3-point, and you can do a lot of lifting pretty much straight up. It's the arc of your 3-point that this thing rides on. But yeah, I've been looking for one of these, and I see them used all the time. 150 bucks, 200 bucks, and I'm like, man, I could build one for that. I could make one of myself. They're not that complex of a system. But anyway, I finally saw this one. The guy was asking 60 bucks, and like I do, I chewed him down to 50 bucks because I was like, he's already kind of asking a decent price. I'm not going to offer him 25 and insult him. But if you play your cards right and you're a nice person and you're polite and you're on time, you don't keep them sitting there waiting, and you coordinate everything, there's good deals to be had out there, even in this hard economy. So just wanted to give you guys some things to think about and how you can get some good deals in 2025. It's not as easy as it was in the past, especially on cars and trucks and stuff like that. Yeah, that's right. That's a 72 Monte Carlo we just walked by like nothing. And I got to start paying attention to that and getting that thing back on the road. But guys, I got to get back out here. I've got a smoker over there going with a pork on it. I've got wheels. I've got to figure out which tires I'm going to buy for the White Buffalo. So if you've got any suggestions on really good tires that don't break the bank, that would be good for a 3/4 ton. I need E-rated tires. I need all-terrain or maybe mud. I'm thinking about doing some mud tires, or what they're calling rugged terrain, a little bit more aggressive than all-terrain, but I don't want to sacrifice too much ride quality because the dang thing rides really good on those general grabbers. But the problem is they've gone up to the same price as the BF Goodriches and the Goodyears and other name brands. So if you got any suggestions, let me know. Appreciate you tuning in. Hit me up in the comments. We'll continue the conversation. Let me know of any good deals you've gotten here lately. And until then, we'll see you next time.